Alright. Let's probably just talk about the expansion first. In terms of Legion, I think questing-wise, I thought the expansion was pretty bloody good. At least on the first run through. Now, if anybody wants to add anything, jump in. I think the raiding got a little bit repetitive, and I think that some of the zones got a little underutilized. I think as a whole, it did pretty well. I really liked the part where you could pick which zone to do in what order, and it was that was completely free.
Yeah,
and
that was a really good. I really like that.
And that you had the artifact quest line that you could always sort. That was first of all class independent, and for elements of it spec independent, but also that you could always fall back to it as something to break up the raw going through zone by zone.
Yeah, I definitely like the class. Like each class had its own storyline. Like I don't know, I've only really played the Rogue and Demon Hunter ones, but still, like the fact that Demon Hunters were all about hunting demons.
Well, I'm going to step in there and say, you said that each class got their own storyline, right? Yeah, priests would like to have a word with you.
Yeah, priests like the paladins.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I've seen the Rogue storyline mentioned as a really good one. Because they sneak into capitals and shit like that, which was really cool.
Will we get to do them like on alts and stuff like that? Past?
Yeah.
Okay, because I would like to try the Rogue one. That does sound really cool.
Yeah,
they're all staying in.
Good.
You know what I was happy about, because I've just googled it, is how many main characters we lost in Legion.
Oh, I know.
Probably a perverse thing to be happy about.
But
we lost quite a few characters in Legion.
Especially in the beginning.
Rip.
Yeah.
A moment's silence for Varian.
And Vol'jin.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
No, just Varian. Stop there, Varian.
Play a troll, and you're not sad about losing Vol'jin.
Oh no, Vol'jin's not
biggest-
dead. I
the
refuse to
biggest
believe
death.
that Vol'jin's dead.
The biggest death for me that hit me was definitely Tyrion.
Yeah?
100%.
Which time he died? In the Paladin Order Hall or in the Broken Shore? Because he died twice.
Broken Shore, man. That was... Because, unless you played a Paladin, you didn't know. You know?
Yeah.
There was no
That's
sort
true.
of closure.
Until you saw some guys running around with his sword.
It was horrific. Croesus just, destroys him. And he's like, the light will protect him, and he's screaming, and it's horrific.
It's a little bit how going.
I think my only problem with that is that, unless you have played a lot of Wrath, Tyrion's not that big of a figure to you. I know what he is and what he's done. Well, who he is and what he's done because of Wrath, and also by some extension Hearthstone.
You read the books as well, didn't you?
Well, I've got the books now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got the books post Legion launch, so I can understand that if somebody came in completely fresh faced, having never experienced WoW before, Tyrion's as much as that was a very epic moment, and probably the most built up of the main character deaths early on, if you weren't a long-standing player invested in this game, you probably had no idea who that was.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
That's probably why it was bigger for me. Because I did play in Wrath, and that was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And plus, I really like the Ashbringer arc, the whole storyline with the Ashbringer. It's really, I think it's one of the better parts of the Warcraft lore.
Yeah. Alright, so next one up. Quick poll. Of the 4 main questing zones, most and least favourite.
I'm sorry, what?
Of the 4 main questing zones in Legion.
So outside of Suramar.
Yeah, outside of Suramar. The 4 leveling questing zones.
Oh, yeah.
What was your biggest favourite and your least favourite?
Cannot go past Stormheim. my
Stormheim
fave.
first time around.
Yeah,
That was
I have to agree with
just so
Raymond.
good to do the first time. It was just, oh, man.
yeah. First time around, much better. But repetitively, I think Val'sharah.
Ah, no.
Was Val'sharah the
Duranda!
Dreamtime one? Yeah.
Need you!
Yeah.
Toronto!
My
where
fury and
are
my
you?
love!
I'm
coming!
I am coming, my love!
Because Stormheim repetitively was just Jen and... Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, but Jen's hot.
And I
If you're
found
into that.
High Mountain quite repetitive. Like, it was long. It was very long.
Yeah, a lot of
so
getting up
to-
and down shit.
Yeah,
Fucking
to
hell.
repeat that was very, very tedious.
High Mountain
Um,
and Azjara need flying.
Like, I'm
Valshra.
I'm a little disappointed with how underused High Mountain ended up feeling.
Yeah, like
Like, I did High Mountain first, so bit of context there. I really liked the zone leveling through it because it was the first of the Legion zones I did.
Yeah.
I really liked the zone, and then it basically felt abandoned after that first run because there's one dungeon in that zone, and
Yeah,
apart
and no
from-
raid.
apart from an allied race coming out of it, there was basically nothing else that got done with that zone.
Yeah.
The storyline basically just ended.
Yeah.
And yeah, you look at the other ones. As Shara is a similar situation. There's basically just there's just the two dungeons in there, one of which has nothing to do with the actual quest line done
Yeah,
in that.
That's
zone.
going to lead up to something coming out. Whereas
We know that that's rolling into BFA.
Yeah.
But if you look at Valshara, it basically set up the first raid of the expansion. You look at High Mountain, there was the second raid of the expansion that came out of that.
Stormheim, you mean?
Stormheim, sorry, not yeah.
Yeah.
And then Suramar basically was the third one, but Suramar's a different story altogether.
Yeah, Suramar's huge.
So I'm really quite disappointed with what it ended
Of
up.
High Mountain.
Yeah, well, I felt like High Mountain was a big lost potential.
Yeah, it's funny as well because, like, going on what you're saying there, they did a lot of the scenarios in the quest going back to Hull and High Mountain and a lot of the history,
Yeah.
and then it just didn't really.
Yeah,
I don't know, unless they plan to build on that in BFA with allied races. I don't know, but
that was the only part of High Mountain I really enjoyed to repeat. Was just that
yeah,
Ebon Wing sort of
Yeah.
part where you're going through the whole High Mountain.
yeah,
history.
yeah,
That's really fun.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, like in terms of my most and least favorite, I think Valshara has got to be my most favorite, just because that is the only one of the zones that I refused to stop playing until I finished it.
I mean, yeah, bad voice acting aside, it was a very good zone.
Like
it was good.
It irritated the second time round because you noticed a lot of the problems, but it hooked me the first time through. Like
Actually, I mean, I understand why it was so easy to do, but fucking hell, Yazera went down like a sack of shit.
Yeah,
yeah. In terms of the least favorite, I just never really agreed with the leveling path through Azshara. I felt like it was a bit too disconnected of a zone.
Yeah. According to the lore, Azjara was supposed to be the first zone.
Azuna, yeah.
Azuna,
Oh,
yeah,
Azuna,
Azuna.
sorry. Yeah, Azuna.
Sorry.
Azuna was supposed to be the first zone.
can I just say something quickly on
Maybe.
on what Raymond said before about how Ysera went down like a sack of shit? I think that kind of ties in with how we lost Tyrion and Vol'jin and
Vol'jin's not
Varian
dead.
at the beginning. It was supposed to sort of like, I felt like Legion really sort of, and Blizzard tried to push this big shock factor of like, this is, we really sort of want to drill in, like, this is something different, Legion is something else, we're getting back to something different, like it's, or something old that we're, you know what I mean? Like, it was like we're really sort of trying to, like, we've heard you guys, heard the community about complaints that have been made, we're really trying to push something, it's something different, something to
Well, it's something
look out
that
for.
not Warlords of Draenor.
Yeah, exactly, like a redemption from that.
Yeah, where we brought everyone back that you thought was dead, but yeah.
We ended up killing the fucking guy we brought back it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, alternate Gul'dan.
Rip Gul'dan.
Yeah.
Daddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Ysera, it also emphasised how much we're over dragon fights now. Like, we're never going back to dragon fights.
You say that. I'm ready for Deathwing 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No, it's interesting, Graham, actually. I didn't think about that. We haven't really had like a big bad dragon since Cataclysm.
No, exactly. Like that was the point that we progressed beyond dragon fights. Like if we fight a dragon now, they're just going to go down like a sack of shit.
But
Yeah.
that's also the point where after Cataclysm, who were the big bad dragons left?
Yeah.
Galakrond. Galakrond still exists somewhere. I mean, he's a pile of bones at the moment in Northrend, but
Yeah.
Galakrond was called the World Eater, and the 5 aspects killed him.
But I mean, the dragons are limited to the aspects, right? So, and they were all sort of like done away with at the end
of
when they gave up their immortality, right?
Well, the big dragon bosses have basically all came out of either the blue dragon flight leading up to Malagos, or out of the black dragon flight. But both of those cases are now basically closed off, unless you want to start making claims about the infinite dragon flight. But again, that pretty much got closed off in Cata as well.
Yeah.
We now have a bunch of the Nightmare. I don't think the Nightmare's gone. I look forward to more Nightmare. Which is where we're going to start slaughtering the green dragons, so that'll be good.
What does Nightmare? Does that actually stem, lore-wise? Is it stem from Legion, the Burning Legion, or is it Void stuff?
Old God.
Old Gods.
Oh, it was Void, like Old God, sort of.
Yeah.
That's
Old
right.
God slipped their dick inside the void, inside the dream, and Ysera was like, "Could you not?" And Ysera got really red.
What's his name? The dumbass.
Xavius.
No, the other dumb druid. The one who planted all the extra world trees.
Vandrel Staghelm.
Vandrel. Yeah, he planted world trees in Northrend and let. Yeah.
Oh
Get into the dream.
Yogi Boy got into the dream. Yggdrasil, the broken one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a quest up in Northrend about how they had to cut it down because Yogg was
corrupting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that fucking thing is huge as well.
He was gently caressing its inner thigh, and the druid's like, "Woi, nah."
That's inappropriate.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay, Mark and Nick, you two have both been fairly quiet about this. What was your thoughts on the Legion zones?
Tempting to remember most of the quest line.
Did you not just skip the text and just play the game?
Well, the play of the game was to read the text.
Yeah.
Okay. If you were one of the people that did that though, like, which ones did you find still funnest to just play?
Which ones, Mark?
See, it's like a year and a half ago. I can't remember most of the zones.
Which ones, Mark, did you not skip all the text immediately? Which ones did you not skip the text immediately?
I did all the zones when I first leveled my first character, all with reading it and shit. I started with Azuna, I think is how you pronounce it.
Azuna.
Yeah, whatever it is. The bits with like the ghosty boys and stuff, they were pretty cool. You had to go like the school and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was some fun quests in there.
Yeah.
I did actually on that. I really liked the Was it in Azuna you did the Blue Dragonflight arc?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sick. I really liked that.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's a really good. I just
Anything
did that
related to mana in Azuna was good.
I really like how they tied that into the Balance for Power questline as well.
Yeah.
If any of you guys did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun questline.
Yeah, like you said, I wasn't a fan of High Mountain really.
Yeah.
Too much mountain scaling.
That was a problem without flight.
There was one point in the quest line where I had to go to some cave or something, and I went to the bottom part, and then it said you had to go up, and I thought, how the hell do you get up? Walked around for like half an hour, and then realised there was like a little side step. I think, actually no, I know, I didn't actually find that. I cheated on the warrior, I just heroic leaped up to it. I just scaled the side of a mountain over 3 minutes while I waited for the cooldown to refresh. Fun times.
Alright, so the big one, Surima.
I liked it.
This seemed to be a bit of a like experiment.
An illusion. What are you hiding?
Behalf a little bit, because I don't recall them having ever done something on that scale as the end game zone before.
Illusion. What are you hiding?
Quest line fun. First quest line a bit tedious, a bit long.
got Surima as a end zone. That's sort of like, what do you call it? Warlords, the end zone.
Hmm?
Like, they had an ending zone for, like, Warlords and everything. They always had an end zone. It's
Like
just they've sort of
Tanan Jungle and
extended
stuff.
it, and they've had a bunch of
Yeah.
them afterwards now.
Like,
That was more Argus, I think, was the end zone.
yeah, okay. So, but like in terms of you just finished the quest line and you had this new massive questing zone open up. Like, I don't think they've done that to that scale before.
Oh, probably not as many quests, no.
Yeah.
No.
I liked the idea. I gotta admit, it's sort of. I didn't do it all when it straight up. It took a while until I came back to do it. In hindsight, I think I would have liked to do it straight up, but I was personally just a little burnt out at that stage.
Yeah. I like the second part of it. Like, once you got into the city and everything like that, just going around Surima was very slow and tedious, I felt.
An illusion.
Yeah.
What are you hiding?
They did have the best voice lines.
Actually,
Yeah.
The most memorable voice lines.
I actually found out that the chick that they got to voice the Arcanist is actually a magician in real life.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, she was on Penn and Teller, and I saw her at the at BlizzCon. Watched the BlizzCon voice actors, and I'm just like, hey, that's that chick.
Love that shit.
Actually, I think the insurrection part of that Surima was probably my favourite of the parts of it.
Yeah.
In saying that, I came back and played it after Insurrection came out, so
I thought Surma, it was like a love-hate relationship. I hated it, but once I got it, I loved it. It was awesome. Loved it.
I was not a fan of the rep requirement to progress the storyline.
That
was irritating. That did actually put me off the game for about a year.
Yeah,
the gate was insane.
I don't think I finished Insurrection until after the rep gate was down.
I definitely feel like that was there for time gating it, and I think there's a huge amount of Legion that was set up as time gated stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like the entire concept of the artifact power was all just time gating. But yeah, I think that's actually overall one of my bigger issues with Legion, that so much of it just felt time gated because of arbitrary limits.
Yeah.
See that, but at the same time, I think that was because I remember I pretty much just finished flying just before all the time gate stuff and all the new patch dropped for the Broken Shore, and sorry for whenever it was, like the next big patch dropped just before it became really easy, and I remember finishing it just before then, and it felt really good because it was a hard grind, but it was totally worth the reward, and it was very satisfying to have done that again in WoW, like to actually grind out something that was really, really worth the reward. And it wasn't just like you grind, and then you get flying. It's like there's other rewards along the way. Plus, it helped you unlock the Nightborn allied race as well, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Hey, but they're only Horde now, so what's the fucking point?
We have Night Elves for Alliance.
Yeah. The alliances were dicks to the.
Miranda said one line of, "Hey, you guys were traitors back in the War of the Ancients. Why were you dicks?" And the Nightborn are like, "Well, let's join the Horde then."
Yeah, that felt a little forced.
And also the fact that Lady Leandrin was literally the whole time trying to help them win back their city, and Tiandra is.
So was Tyrande. Tyrande was there as well. She's still there. She still screams at me whenever I enter the zone. She's like, "The Nightborn are ready to assault the city. Light beacons along the border. Inspire the citizens." Oh, fuck off, Tyrande. I don't have time for your shit. Go back to fucking Malfurion and Val'Sharah. Tyrande! I need you!
We don't want that to happen. Alright.
The other one, the next question, Legion 4.
Well, actually, I was
Armies of
going to
Legion.
say the next question: dungeons.
And Dragons? Fuck, I love that game. Let's go play some
Yeah,
Dungeons and
it's
Dragons.
fun.
Dungeons were fun for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I still don't think I've done all of them.
Cam,
Yeah.
you need to get Cole
I
on
sort of
here for this
got-
I
shit.
haven't done the Argus
No,
ones.
Cole runs Mythic Stupidity Keystones.
Yeah, but there's still dungeons.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get this out of the way first.
I
As
don't think
much as we give the Mythic Plus system crap for basically being repetitive dungeons over and over, I think it's actually added some serious longevity to the dungeon system in WoW.
Correct.
No question.
Like, how often is it that you just do the dungeons until you've got the decent gear out of them, and then you never step foot in that dungeon again?
Correct.
But
That's us
it's
right
also
now, Lich of the
fucked up
King.
the scaling and like level of zones and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it fucked up like so
Like
much other stuff.
currently,
Like
I'm
raid
on a
gear.
character that I haven't played since Tomb. I'm in Argus, which was okay to play. Like I could kill shit. I'm just constantly dying at the moment on anything small trash.
Great, I look forward to going there with my
I
character.
can't kill a fucking. What are those ram things?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I could
What was the
barely
question,
kill that.
sorry?
How are dungeons in?
I thought the
Oh.
question was, is Liam bad at the game?
Yeah, I am. Next question.
Like, if you go through dungeon by dungeon, and I think this is true of every expansion, there are dungeons in there that everybody that you liked, and dungeons in there that you didn't like. Like, we could compare lists, but I'm sure we've all got a handful
Compare
of
the
ones
pair.
that we really didn't like. and that
Let's. Have
This
we tried
dungeon is in
Did
Stormheart.
Violet Hold seem really lazy from Blizzard?
It was dumb. It sucked.
No,
Yes.
there was nothing wrong with
No,
Violet
it was
Hold.
original, very original.
Alright, hang on. Let me go through the dungeon list. I gotta check this again. I gotta refresh my mind.
I'll refresh your mind.
There's the High Mountain one with the big monkey.
Hang on, dude. I'm just gonna go through the list.
Okay,
Right.
Fucking Karazhan was one of the dungeons too.
I
Yeah.
actually thought that what they did with Karazhan was quite good, though.
Gara was more original than Violet
I'm
Hold.
so glad they're fixing that bug currently with Karazhan leveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good bug to fix, Blizzard. Definitely a bug.
What the
And they're
people
not
level three
exploiting
characters.
it.
Let's not get into that.
Ah!
I thought I wasn't a big fan of the dungeons actually. I thought they just didn't have this sort of nice feel to them. They just sort of didn't. They were quite drab and boring and didn't have a lot of sort of pizzazz
Very
to them.
Dark.
Aside from
The only one I
Four
really,
lanes.
the only one I really remember is the is it the Azuna one? Is that the one where you
The
go
Eye of Azara.
Ajara.
Yeah, the one where you go around the storm thing.
That was
that to me
cool.
was it was alright the first few times, but it wasn't really a dungeon. It was more just like an open area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
I think
seagulls,
that-
I swear to God.
Oh yeah.
That's actually almost the only one that I can say almost felt like it had its own flavour.
yeah.
Yeah. So it
No,
seemed interesting
The
enough.
rest
But
of them are all pretty much you just progress along this single path, killing. Like, it's just trash wave after trash wave after boss, and obviously there's a point where you go, oh yeah, but there's these interesting mechanics and stuff in there, but that comes back to
The
Yeah.
other one was the
the mythic
Surma
system
one.
has made that a thing, and you could have almost found that in nearly any dungeon in WoW history if you had an infinite scaling difficulty curve for it.
Yeah. The other one was the one in Surma, the Archway.
Archway and Court of Stars were pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were cool concepts. They're ones that ended up on my avoid list because I just found them to be a bit of a pain if you didn't have a structured group for them.
I really enjoyed the Eye of Ashara.
That was good.
Up until like the fourth stage of the storm where there was fucking lightning everywhere.
Yeah, that was. A
I
pain
got
in the arse.
insta-gibbed by seagulls and lightning too many times.
But I mean, no dungeon can be perfect though. Like for
also-
the most part, it was a great dungeon.
I just really appreciated Halls of Valor and Trials of Valor simply because it was just
Yes.
a different breath of air for
Yep.
Legion.
Yeah.
It was all
That was what I was getting
green,
to.
angry, moody, sullen shit. And then you've got the Halls of Valor, which is honestly beautiful as
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yep.
actually have them as one of my wallpapers. There's some really yeah.
so
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was one of the stronger points, especially the dungeons attached to the main leveling zones, the
Yeah.
ones part of their storyline. I think those dungeons actually did pretty well of being a decent variety.
Oh, Dark Heart Thicket was fucking trash, though. I hated Dark Heart Thicket.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
you just take those 4 dungeons, they're very thematically different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Black Rook, Halls, Thicket, and Natharian's Lair.
No, it's Natharian's Lair. Halls. Blackrock's not even in there, man. Blackrock was
Is
an
this-
extra.
I consider that one as Yuna's one because I prefer that one over Eye of Ashara.
You're not
Except
allowed to
Black
override that, really.
I am
Yeah.
now. I am Blizzard.
Except Blackrock's in Valshara.
Hey, Cameron, would you like the Activision to my Blizzard?
Oh god.
Oh dear.
I think my favorite is probably Kara. Return to
Yeah,
Kara.
that's fair.
Of all the ways that they could have remade dungeons, and let's be honest, Blizzard has gotten to the stage of remaking a dungeon every expansion.
Yep,
I think the way they did Karazhan was one of the better ways.
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Compare-
absolutely.
I can't hold them.
Hold to
Yeah,
Return
you
to
can't
Kara.
hold them back for that.
Yeah, it was
Violet
done
Hold
extremely
was
well.
garbage.
And I think it was special for us as well because we had just not that long
Yeah.
ago progressed through Kara.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had just been doing Kara, so it's this is actually a really cool concept.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to add anything else on dungeons?
Nah.
Mark?
Move on to
Not
raids.
dungeons.
Remember raids. Yeah.
Because I've done like 2 raids,
Yeah.
so I'll be really good.
Okay,
Okay.
Nick and Mark, I know you both were very quiet in there as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
That was
Again.
a fact.
Again, Cameron, we need coal.
What's your favorite dungeon, boys?
The one with the thing.
Oh, fuck, I love that one, especially when the thing did that watch your thing, yeah.
Was it the Sea of Triumvirate?
Yeah,
Probably
when
the
when
Eye
it got
of
lit.
Ashara or whatever.
As a Azar, yeah.
All right. Legion raids, and okay, let's in particular talk about the first 3. So,
This is a can of worms to me.
Emerald Nightmare, Trial of Valor, no Trial,
Yeah, Trial.
Yeah.
Trial,
And Nighthold.
and Nighthold.
I had a Mandela. What's the Mandela effect? You know when you recall something that's not actually true,
Yeah.
but like just for myself, not a big group thing. I thought that Emerald Nightmare had its own tier set, but it didn't.
No.
It just completely tripped me out. That's good to have to say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great raid though. I did like it. I never did it as progression. I only went back to do it for Balance of Power, but I didn't. Yeah, it was okay. Actually, it wasn't. I think I liked it. It would have been interesting to do it in progression though, so I can't really say a lot on it.
Yeah.
Emerald Nightmare is the only one that I did strictly LFR in this expansion. And to an extent, I sort of regretted it a little bit because I think that would have been really nice to try, do on curve, on normal and heroic.
Especially like when it's one of the first in the expansion.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've done early expansion progression rating, and I think it's a lot different to when the game's either rolling or it gets towards the end.
Yeah.
I might do that for the next expansion, the BFA.
Yeah.
I was going to do it for Legion, but once I hit that Suramar questline, I'm just like...
Raymond, I've said I'd do that. What you're saying, I've said I've done that for the past 3 expansions. I think I never.
Alright,
do it.
welcome to the vicious cycle, boys.
Yeah.
Okay. I really like the idea of Trial of Valor just to inject another. I think a small 3-boss raid is an underrated idea.
Oh, it's so good. It's just like... Yeah.
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 I think it opens it up so that you can make the main raids be bigger deals, and you can have those smaller raids for when you just want when a guild wants to be able to just throw an hour or less into.
But it's also that it made sense in the story. Like there was only
Yeah.
2 major players in that whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of holding out that BFA does something similar with maybe a callback to Anchorage or something when they finally acknowledge that this is going to be an Old Gods expansion.
If they did
It's
it
not
as
an Old
well
Gods
as they
expansion,
redid
Cameron.
Kara,
Fuck.
I'd be all for that.
Cameron,
Yeah.
you know the first raid is going to be 2 different raids. It's going to be an Alliance raid and a Horde raid.
Yeah. And I thought Nighthold was a pretty cool raid as a. I think Nighthold was actually just a strong raid all round.
I kind of hated Nighthold when I first did it.
Mm.
I really
You're
hated
welcome
it.
to your opinion, however wrong it may be.
I think my only real dislike for Nighthold was all rollover from being annoyed by Suramar.
Yes.
So there's nothing in Nighthold that I can really hold against Nighthold.
Really? Huh. Okay.
Nothing really stood out to me though. It was just sort of like it was real glossy and Suramari-esque, and I really liked the Croesus fight.
Yeah.
I didn't really care for the Gul'dan fight. I didn't really care for not Melandru. Is it Melandru? What's the second? What's the big mage bitch boss?
Don't try and get me to name him. Somebody else.
This is the second last boss. The big mage bitch. Anyway, I don't know.
No one really knows.
I hated High Botanist.
What do you think? What was that one, sorry?
High Botanist Talan.
Hypotenuse.
Confirmed.
Yeah, Hypotenuse.
I have found the hypotenuse.
Alright, so we can't really name any problems. It sounds like we were pretty happy with how the first couple of raids went.
Yeah, except for Nighthold.
So, how about 7-2 as a whole? So, this is Tomb of Sargeras, the Broken Isles questing, basically everything to do with that patch sort of time. And there was a dungeon in there. What was the dungeon called? Cathedral.
Cathedral, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just put it this way. I don't like the Legion Fall thing because of the stupid mission gating system behind it.
Yeah, I've just logged into my 110 and I've recalled that I'm still stuck on that Mark of Centenax thing, and I don't know what that is or where that is, and I know that it was a pain in the ass to get, so I just don't
How
want
are
to do
you
it
still
anymore.
stuck on that?
Because I don't want to do it.
I've got it on every single character.
Good for you.
Yeah, the Centenax farming was...
A pain in the ass.
Well, you kind of need a group to do it. Like, once people have moved past it, it's harder to get to that point.
People are
Yeah.
still doing it right now.
Yeah, when you
Right.
mount farming, it's kind of hard. That was a bit of a bottleneck point. Like a lot of I like that Legion required you to go back and do everything to get the flying, and so like all the content is still somewhat relevant. But that seemed to be a bottleneck that not many people did, and it was
Yeah,
hard
that
to
was
facilitate people finding groups and stuff like that.
That one's the one I'm stuck. I'm stuck on the next one after that. I've just done the marks.
Okay.
No, I've done the rare elites after that, I think it was, and then now I'm stuck on. Oh, you've got to do a class 4 mission for the Broken Shore, and the only one I've got is the Tomb of Sargeras 900 mission, and my followers can't fucking do that.
Yeah, the catch up on Order Hall can be quite painful.
Yeah.
I'm so far behind on my order hall.
Yeah, I think I'm super duper up to date on my Paladin, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, actually, I think I only did my paladin the whole way through on the Order Hall, and everybody else was just, yeah, I'm not doing that again.
Actually, that's on that note, it was an interesting point that people have said a lot through Legion up until I feel 7.3 and 7.3.5 is that Legion wasn't very alt friendly
Yeah, that's
Considering
absolute
that
truth.
as an expansion.
Considering, yeah, it was a class focus expansion. Like, they want you to play all your classes.
Yeah, the only reason I diversified in classes was for the artifact appearances.
Yeah, I thought also for the story as well.
Oh no!
Yep, that too.
Like, you want us to play all this stuff and have all the story, but yeah,
Yeah.
made it real hard to be alt friendly.
Like,
You're really
because I
hard.
did that. I did every class for the story. when it was relevant, not like 7.3 where they fucking got rid of all the gate and shit.
Yeah.
But the thing that really pissed me off was the attunement quests when you went up from like the different raids and stuff, and some of them were just the exact same quests for the different classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sort of started to notice the repeat that was in it once you started doing multiple classes. Like, there definitely, it wasn't 36 unique pathways.
No. Which you can understand a bit. Yeah.
No understanding.
Alright, does anybody have anything they really want to say about Tomb of Sargeras?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Way too many
God
groups
damn it.
broke up, either on Sargeras or the boss before him.
Was
There a lot of
relationship
Friday
breaking?
nights.
Tomb of Sargeras is probably my favorite raid of this expansion.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
In saying that though, I was thinking back to this and it's like, there's not that many fights in it that I think are going to be super memorable in the long term.
There's Maiden.
There's Maiden, which you're going to remember for a fair while down the track, because that actually felt pretty unique.
Yeah.
But outside of that, there was...
Also, probably depends
Yeah.
on what spec you went, or what. Like, if you went tank, you
Yeah.
might remember Avatar more than a DPS.
Yeah.
Yeah. Avatar wasn't too bad.
Avatar was my favorite boss fight, for sure. And Maiden was awesome, and I liked, was it Gorok, the first boss?
Yeah, I
Those were
can't
really
remember
good
his name, but
fights.
yeah, he was probably my favorite. He was pretty good.
The sisters.
No,
No,
the
just
first
the
boss.
big dude, the
No,
dog
no,
or
no,
whatever
I
he
mean-
was. That
Oh, you're saying your favorite
Green
was
guy.
the sisters.
I think that I did really enjoy that. The floor buff.
It was
really
different.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're screaming about the zenith and stuff.
Yeah.
Very, very dramatic. It was interesting. It was different. I didn't really like the Maw of Souls. What? Not Maw of Souls. The Host of Souls or whatever it was.
the desolate host.
Yeah,
Desolate
Desolate
Host,
Host.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big fan of that. I just never really got it. I just didn't like. I did it, and I understood my place in the strat, but I just didn't see it all pieced together as a whole strat. It just was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I think that's the danger of doing a split raid style fight. Of sometimes they can feel really good when you end up feeling like you're just part of a larger machine sort of thing,
Yeah,
like a larger like plan working out. But
I guess
there's
I
also
just
times where it feels like I basically just did a dungeon boss.
Yeah.
yeah.
It really had to be done at level with a group that you were like friends with,
Yeah.
an actual guild, not just a pug.
Yep.
Yeah. I think
You
in
had to
tank,
follow
that
the
was
strat. When you had like people that were over leveled, they were just stand there, I'll tank it, you go over the other side, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was one of the fights that I thought lost a huge amount as it went down difficulties. Like, the heroic version of that felt a lot better than the normal and the LFR versions of it. And I never touched the mythic one, but I suspect the mythic version of it probably felt better again.
I liked the two guys with the chamber. What was the council? Was that the fight?
The two guys in the prison thing that they sent people into.
Yes. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Um,
That was a cool fight, but I'm gonna jump in quickly on that one. I think that was a missed opportunity to actually have a forced 3-tank fight.
Yeah,
like
but I
one
don't
stays
think
in the
they-
room the whole time.
Yeah, and I think that's where it really became clear that Blizzard's decided that raids are going to be 2-tank,
Yeah,
4-heal.
that's very
builds.
true. They did
Yeah.
have a big up. Now that you've mentioned that, I didn't really think about that before.
The
So
problem
that's
is
the thing. That's kind of what Mark was saying before. Like, depending on what class you played, like you're seeing it through the eyes of a tank, whereas I was seeing it more through the eyes of a healer and a DPS.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for that one, if you're playing at 10 man and you're forced to have 3 tanks, it's going to be very
Oh, I understand that you don't. Given the way that the scaling works now for raids, you can't run a forced 3-tank fight,
No.
especially on lower difficulties.
Like, if they did it for Mythic, made it a Force 3 tank fight, that would be, like, yeah. Awesome.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
If you're gonna do that, Raymond, can
All I
you just
wanted to
mute
do.
yourself?
Move him.
Don't move me. I thought Rebecca was going to join in, but she's just not joining in.
Okay.
Am I joining?
Yeah. Alright. Nick, do you have anything you want to say on Tomb?
Never really did it. Actually, no, scratch that. I haven't done it.
Oh, did you never
Okay.
finish it where we used to collapse on Friday nights on...
No, I just never tried it.
Oh, you
I
did
sort
it?
of never got into the raiding in Legion just simply because I suppose I'm sort of spoiled down at Legacy where I'm actually playing with people I know. I can't really get into it with people who I don't know. So
Yes.
when everyone just starts getting salty, I go screw it. I'll just go back and play by myself.
Yes, absolutely.
Bye!
And then stuff with all and all that, it's sort of all just put me off most of it up at that level. I mean, if Mark's guild thing he took off, if it actually ever did take off up there, I would have gladly joined to that. But I think we never really had intention of playing Legion that much.
Well, there was only like 5 people in it.
Yeah. So, but if we ever had everyone down here wanted to do that up at high level, I'd easily just jump up there and join that guild and go straight through with it. Because at least
Okay.
I know the people in it.
It was mainly a
Yeah.
Mythic Plus guild, to be
It
honest.
was. I thought it was mainly a bank guild for you and Cole.
I mean, it was a bank guild for me. It was an alt guild, and Cole just chucked all his characters in there.
He's taking them all out now,
I
isn't he?
just used it for all my
For the heirlooms.
just to get the alien pants.
Yeah.
It was helpful.
Yeah, I actually bought the alien pants off the leveling guild I was with.
That's what I did as well. And then I left that guild and joined Sugar Rush. Was it
Wow.
Sugar Rush now?
It's Cookie Monsters now.
Cookie Monsters, yeah. I left Sugar Rush and joined Cookie Monsters.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if they have Sugar Rush now, they'll probably get fined by Netflix.
No, they left because the other guild manager was a dick.
Yeah, it's a drama story.
Yeah.
No surprise.
Well, I
there.
left Bloodlust, not Heroism.
Oh, it's heroism, you nerd.
Well, Blackjack
alright.
and hookers.
So I'd just like to say one more thing on Tomb of Sargeras though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think another big thing for me was as a BC player, seeing the redone tier 6 sets into tier 20 was, I didn't get nailed it. I think it was awesome.
Yeah.
I think they just did so well with it,
The
especially
mage
the
ones
mythic
looked
sets.
amazing.
Yeah. Actually, I actually just really like the idea of them putting in alternate, more color versions of it.
Yep, for sure.
I actually spent all my PvP tokens on all that gear.
Yeah, yeah, it was cool, right? Like
Oh,
the paladin tier, like the PvP set was red, like this blood red for Horde, and it was this nice blue for Alliance.
Yeah. By the way,
Really cool.
if anyone wants to go and run Tomb of Sargeras next after we've got the expansion and we're powered up a bit, I'm very keen to get that mage set.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It looks
For
sick.
sure.
Alright. So 7-3. Argus and Entorus being the big parts of it.
Never did Entorus. Still haven't done it.
I still haven't- okay.
Bro,
Yeah.
miss it
so-
out.
How do people feel about Argus?
Wait, the map or the...
Yeah, the quest zones.
Quest
Personally, I thought it was pretty good. Like, the time gate annoyed me a little bit. Like, But
Yeah.
it was a short time gate in the grand scheme of things.
It wasn't long.
In saying that, all the little bits to get like your followers and stuff leveled up, I don't know if I want to do that again.
Oh,
No.
fuck no. No,
Oh,
way
dear
too
God, no.
way too many things. I was using the mobile app straight for like a week because I needed to get a follow up to a certain level to get through the next quest gate.
I actually used
Yeah.
up all of my auto haul resources on one follower.
Yeah.
And she's still not a bloody legendary. She's still trash.
Yeah.
Why, Blizzard?
As someone that has done all the tunes and was following it through the expansion, I got really burnt out with that, and I just couldn't be bothered Because you had to do the quest line for each character to get into Argus, so
Yep.
I only really did
Yeah.
2 or 3 characters.
It
and I
wasn't
got
that
over
long
that
though,
quick.
was it? Was it a long quest line though?
It took a
Uh,
while from memory.
But it was also it only come out like once a week or something like that.
Yeah, each stage of it was only once a week, and
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually missed one of the stages at one point, and it's just like, oh, there's this world quest somewhere. It's like, what world quest?
yeah,
But it was a side quest, so I just never bothered to do.
Right.
It was like go and kill 10 things. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's just a side quest. I'm not stressed about that.
Yeah.
Like I was really hoping after the 3 weeks were up, like it was just unlocked and you could bring all your characters in, but I don't know if it is now, but yeah, you still had to do the quest line like a month in.
yeah. I have no idea if they've changed it now, but I do remember that being a
Probably
bit of a
735
bad.
dropped that. But yeah.
Nick, what were your thoughts on Argus?
Never did it.
Jesus.
No questing on Argus.
No, you didn't do the quests at all.
Let me have a look.
That's
Oh,
I was definitely a fan of the like the fact that you could get better powers on Argus and stuff like that. That was cool.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. For example, I've got the quest here. Go to the crown and activate it above and join wastes. I believe
yeah.
that's the way to open the raid.
So, okay, so you never really finished it.
But you've done the questing through Argus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just never did the raid.
I think they slightly fucked up the was it the Primal Sargerite when it come out?
Yeah.
And the gateways were a bit screwed up and no one was really in them and you were like soloing it by yourself dying.
Yeah, the new world bosses and the new Legion bosses or whatever.
Yeah. Or you'd
Right.
walk in there and then you'd search for a group and then you'd go and just murder
You basically just
everything.
sit in there until someone else makes a group or till you make a group.
I just went in there like 10 minutes ago, I was waiting, oh not 10 minutes ago, an hour ago, and I was waiting for like half an hour, there's no one in there. I didn't know what you were meant to do.
You
Yeah,
What-
you meant
what
to
was
hit,
it?
like, looking for group and
Yeah, you gotta looking for group it nowadays.
Yeah, I couldn't really bother doing
Oh,
that.
it's just the invasions.
yeah.
Yeah. I actually really liked Argus as someone who did like grinded out daily quests back in BC and in Wrath and on Tarmasal and Mop. It was actually the world quest thing it sort of makes it a bit more fresh.
Yeah.
And the rep grinds were good because I feel like, especially after the allied races were announced, I felt like I was really pushing hard to cap those out, and the light forge mount was nice, and it was just fun. It was something different.
Actually,
There was the chance to get mounts and stuff like that drop as well. Yeah, I actually liked I liked Argus. Well, I do like Argus. I like Macquarie especially.
that's the only thing I think the Alliance got a bit screwed on was the fact that their rep gating for their allied races was the 2 toughest rep gates because it was the
Yeah.
last rep.
Yeah, I still haven't
Last
got the
2
Alliance
reputations.
rep.
Yeah.
Right.
Alright, so Antorus. I know there's a fair few people in here that didn't end up doing it.
Nope.
I've done it on LFR and I've only done Argus on.
Wow.
I was just kidding.
Okay.
I gotta admit, I think Antorus is even worse for non-memorable bosses than what Tomb was.
Yeah.
Which is
Like,
yeah.
I'm struggling to even name some of them at the moment.
I'm thinking the council or whatever that fight was, the one with the 3 guys that was kind of interesting, but it was still not like I only did it on LFR, so probably less interesting than normal heroic. But yeah, Argus
there
fight
was some
itself was interesting, but
there were some decent bosses in the back part of it, especially. But like,
yeah, the 2 Titans were good. Argus and
Yeah.
Nagamar.
um,
They didn't fuck them up.
again, on a previous note, I think Coven is another great example of Blizzard's just absolutely decided that raids are going to be 2 tank affairs, where they had one of the 3 bosses in a 3-boss fight just not participate at any one time.
Yeah.
But again, that's from I play mainly tanks, so that's coming from a tanking perspective of it. Everything else, and like, there's no bosses in there that really struck me as they're bad. But outside the two titans, there's like nothing that I feel was super memorable.
What was the big one where you stood around it in a circle and it shot the big cannon beams? The big demon. Hang on, let me get the dungeon journal
Kingaroth.
up.
You mean
King-
Kingaroth?
Yeah, I think it was
Where
Kingaroth.
he spins around
Yeah.
doing the
Oh, yeah.
cannon.
Yeah, I liked Kingaroth. That was cool.
Yeah.
And I really liked that you could get Tayshalak and the Argus's the Unmaker's scythe. Especially since I got Tayshalak. I haven't got the scythe yet, but I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
Since there wasn't really a lot of transmog for weapons outside of artifact appearances. That was kind of cool. But I have to agree with Cameron. Like, it wasn't very memorable. I don't know. Like, it's ludicrous. But I was expecting to go off against Sargeras, and then we didn't have that. And I was like, oh, hang on, backtrack. Wait, what happened? Like, I've got to really pay attention to the storyline, figure out this whole world soul like lore thing that's going on.
Yeah.
Which was, I don't know, it just was... Like, there was just so much build-up with the Burning Legion being, like, the big boss and Sargeras being this big looming thing. And then we didn't really fight him, and it was like, everyone was like, hang on, what the fuck just happened?
And now
Like, years and
Illidan's going to
years.
take him on. And it's just like, okay, so we don't even get to see that?
I'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bit disappointed with that whole, how that was handled.
Well, yeah. I think we could have got a little bit more closure there, but I think ultimately that's being saved for a future expansion.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a whole build up to this. We're taking
Yeah.
down the Burning Legion. This is the time.
Yeah. For what was meant to be the big Burning Legion expansion, we basically didn't.
Yeah, we took down two titans that probably really just got fucked up in the head by Sargeras, but we didn't take down Sargeras.
Yeah.
Illidan did that. Finally.
Apparently,
Yeah.
At last.
all we saw was a flash of light, which could have been the whole rest of the Pantheon exploding.
Yeah. Actually, Liam brought up another point there that I was meant to bring up in the conversation. Artifact appearances. In particular, the Mage Tower.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Feels bad.
I think the Mage Tower was a good idea. I actually don't. I think it was a good idea all round. I'm a little disappointed that it's actually being removed. Like,
Yeah,
I think it should stay.
I think it.
But-
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can see both arguments for why it gets removed. It's like ahead of the curve, but it's
Yeah.
also
but again, maybe we're getting it's because we're doing so much Legacy, but Herald of the Titans is still in the game, and it was essentially ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
you could have done something similar for the Mage Tower to keep it there forever. You just say it has to be done at this level below this item level
with a certain eye level.
or
Yeah.
we do force scaling nowadays.
Yeah,
How,
well,
there's
that's the
so
other
much
thing.
force scaling in WoW. Why can't they just go force scaling? This is the gear you get. Beat it.
Yeah, it makes
It's also
more,
a
it's more of a
case of you got
strategy.
different specs, different like moves and scale of your attack and all that.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, I agree.
as much as that's going to make it easier over time, well, most likely easier over time as the game goes on, it's like that's not a massive downside. There's enough other cosmetic items in the game that have gone that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I just straight up wasn't stressed because I'd already done my hidden artifact stuff for Rogue.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Well,
That was
I did
bullshit
mine for
garbage.
Prot Pally and basically decided at that point that not even. I'm not invested enough in this to bother doing the rest.
Is it
Yeah.
all of it, or is it just the mage tower? Like you still get the hidden appearances from collecting shit, right?
Yeah, I think you can
yeah.
still get the hidden appearances.
The only one you don't get is the Mage Tower one anymore.
Yeah.
You can't get that after a pre-patch.
Yeah.
I'm really
Feels
glad
bad.
Brady got
Can you
it.
still get corrupted
one.
Ashbringer?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
That's what matters. Actually, Reinhardt's
That is
hammer
what
is the only
matters.
one that's going, right?
No, the correct thing is what matters is Thunder Fury.
Blessed Blade of the Windseeker.
I'm confused.
saying-
Don't you just already have that as a legendary?
Thunder
No.
Fury's staying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can still
Yeah.
get that as an outlaw rogue.
Yeah, I was really hoping that was going to stay because I didn't level my rogue.
Yeah, so you've got a shit ton of stuff to do on a rogue.
Oh my, yeah, like all the Blackwing Descent stuff, right? And
But it's just going to be a bitch to get groups for the dungeons.
yeah, same with oh man,
Like doing
Corrupted
vault is going to be a
Ashbringer
bitch.
yeah, I can only imagine.
Oh man, good luck. You might have to go to 120 and just get a couple of people to come with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how about tit for tat? I'll help you get your mage here, and you can help me get my rogue
Yeah, sounds fun.
appearance. Well, I have the legit Thunder Fury though, so
Yeah.
might not need to go for it. We'll see.
Alright, well, while we're sort of on artifacts, how did everybody feel about the artifact system as a whole?
I fucking loved it. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was 90% of the way there, and they just didn't quite execute a couple things properly.
They needed to execute Order 66.
Basically.
Yeah, I joined too late, I think, to really feel how it was at the start, but as of 7.2, it was still pretty damn good. But it was
Well-
just really quick to level it once you hit 110.
Yeah, I felt it was really meaningful and really quite impactful for basically the first tier and a bit. I'm counting Emerald Nightmare here as a tier, but basically the first 2 tiers of the expansion, because for that section of the game, you couldn't even get every trait, so you very much had to. You were making choices about which traits along the tree you wanted, and because traits would lead into traits, you had to think ahead of, I actually want that one down there, so I'll build through this branch of the tree to get to it.
Yeah.
I really liked that early on.
Yeah.
But it got
Or
to the
you basically did what majority of people did and like Googled it and it just tells you what path to follow.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I
that's the thing. If it's becoming a case of just everybody just goes with whatever the guide says to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think I did that with my rogue when I was leveling, just because, yeah, I don't play properly.
Like,
I
Well,
gotta
it adds to the
admit.
experience as well, though, right? Discovering your class
Yeah.
kind of makes it feel more old school.
yeah, I didn't start out doing it that way, and by the time that I was
Yeah, but so you realise you were off the recommended scale.
until well, by the time I started thinking, maybe I should be looking into that, artifact power was so easy to get hold of that it didn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, that's going to be the thing early on with Azerite as well.
I don't know if it's going to be as meaningful there, but we'll see.
I would like it if instead of the Azerite thing being a fucking necklace, it could be a helmet.
No.
Because I loved the idea of having a unique weapon.
Yeah.
Be nice if they could do it for a helmet. Or a cape. They've
something
already
you
done
can
a
see.
cape. Yeah,
So-
I don't want to have a fucking necklace. That's boring.
So from
Yeah,
the
it's something
point-
that's not going to affect your transmog, I think was the
yeah,
choice.
Yeah, well, I'm agreeing with Graham there. I think that's the best way to go.
From the other side of things, how did people like it from a transmog point of view? Because
Fuck yes.
I thought all the different unlockable appearances was a really cool idea.
It's
Yeah,
the exact
I
reason
just-
I rolled Paladin this expansion.
I just wish that I could have a mace as a disciplined priest. There's a lot of good mace transmogs that they could have done, but
So
two-handed stuff.
Raymond just hit on what I like. The 10% of what I thought was wrong with it is that, like, especially Shadow Priest got like screwed over with it. Mages got screwed over big time with it. Like a lot of the caster classes got screwed over big time by that, like being boxed into a certain weapon type and being able to transmog on that
Yeah.
alone. That was the failure of it.
Okay, let's be honest. Druids came out of this the best.
Fucking
Yeah.
Druids.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
No one arguing there.
Paladin's got it pretty good too, though, I think.
Yeah, I think Paladins were just about the second best. A lot of the others, it was mixed bag.
Yeah.
Some just sucked ass completely. I thought Death Knights were pretty average in terms of their transmoggables.
Mm-hmm.
And same with Hunters. Hunters weren't that great. Like the Rock Alarm one was pretty sick. It's not as good as the original. And Priest didn't get like anything like Benediction, which I was very surprised at. I thought they might have done that.
Yeah, but they brought Benediction back as a transmog unlock during one of the events, during the anniversary event.
Did they really?
I'm pretty sure they did.
Don't think they did.
Maybe I'm misremembering that, but I thought they did.
I think that was a plan, but I don't think it was ever
I can't remember if
executed.
I remember hearing about it, but I can't remember if they actually did.
I'm gonna check that actually. I'm gonna check that
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
Alright, just knowing that we've been running for a while here, let's just get through the last couple of bits faster.
YOLO.
Okay. 735 is probably the one that's had the most lasting impact on us, being that we mainly do Legacy, of the new scaling system and also and to an other extent, the allied races. I'm going to say I think the allied races are a pretty decent idea, but it's pretty clearly a cop-out.
Poorly executed.
Yeah.
It's a decent idea, but it's a little bit of a cop-out, and I'm not entirely sure if it's been done perfectly. The scaling stuff, I think, has been done pretty well. For as much of the faults, I think it's been better than it has been worse.
Yeah. I think we're gonna love it until we hate it.
Yeah.
Because when you're leveling odds, it's great to go through and do the whole storyline that you haven't done for ages or that you've never done. But then eventually you're going to get to that point, and it's just going to be, I've done this storyline 5 times already.
Yeah.
It's just that's just my thoughts on it. But,
Yeah. I don't think they needed to up the XP curve the way they did. I think all the other changes were enough to slow down the pace. They didn't need to also up the XP curve.
The fact that the whole zone will scale up with you, that was a good call. But the fact that they up the XP curve to the fact that you have to do basically a whole expansion,
yeah,
that's a bit much.
It's hard to catch up.
I understand that they wanted to slow it down, but the combination of the longer fight times because of the extra health and everything, and the extra health was absolutely necessary. Like you were one-shotting just about everything, and even in dungeons, you could do most of the dungeons with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
Confirmed. I was asleep.
No one was arguing with that. We literally
Like Raymond was asleep, yes.
We were 3-manning heroic dungeons. That was a joke.
Seriously, before that came out, I was soloing Magus' Terrace on heroic on my pally.
Yeah.
Like, it needed to be done, but
They took it too far.
I think the XP curve is the thing that took
Yeah.
it too far more than anything.
Yeah.
But I think as a whole we are better off.
Yeah. I think the tweak may be a little off on the balance for raids, but not sure. It seems some of it seems
I think
fine.
there's one topic that we've missed. How wonderful the pre-launch of Legion was and the XP.
Oh yes,
We
yeah.
loved that.
I didn't get that, so
I think I've never seen anyone exploit that. Like I saw Mark exploit
Oh,
that.
exploit is the correct word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any Alliance tunes before pre-launch, and now I have every class up to at least 60.
Actually, the other one that we sort of missed talking in there is time walking raids, because that's been a Legion feature.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to lead that off. I think it's been good for us, and I think as a legacy group, I think that's been especially good for us because it's put a lot of the meaningful challenge back into the raids that they have done for it, and it's also made it scaling so that there's no question about how many people you take in to make it challenging. You just, as long as you've got 10 or more, it's good.
Yeah. It may want to make set ourselves on fire when we first walk into Black Temple.
Oh yeah, but it was a good wake up call for Black Temple.
Oh yeah, but when we wiped on the first trash, it was just
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
And I think Alderwar's proven the same of. But in saying that, the scaling changes would have probably fixed a bit of the problem with Alderwar anyway. But I think Alderwar being time walking is also adding a fair bit to that raid.
Yeah, it's definitely made it, I think, harder as well because we've got the 25-man ability.
Yeah, I think that's the one problem with the
Yeah.
time walking all the while. They had
I
a
think
25-man,
I think that's the
10-man
problem.
version.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Alderwar would have been better if they had worked out a way to scale the mechanic between the 10 and 25-man version rather than putting the 25-man version mechanics even regardless of if you have 10 people.
Yeah.
For me, those are really definitely I agree with those from a logistics point of view. Just outside of that, I think nostalgia wise, it's cool to have them back.
Absolutely.
But it's been really interesting because it wasn't really as big of a deal for me, and I don't think for us because we were rating it as a guild in a completely different way to everyone else. So for everyone it's like, oh cool, I haven't done this for years, and meanwhile we're in the mud,
did that
grinding
3
it out
days
week
ago.
by week. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We got that was the thing. Some of these guys, I wasn't in the group, but you guys ran it at 110 and got told that you knew nothing when we freaking worked out the mechanics on that boss.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually pretty funny. That one where we went from being the add-ons in the pack to being the leaders of the pack.
Yeah, that one where they're like, oh, what are you guys talking about? Nobody runs this anymore because we're like, oh, well, if you guys don't know how this goes down, we can talk to you through it. And then it got to Supremacist in Black Temple, and it ended up being like the 4 or 5 of us that were part of our Legacy Guild, basically doing the boss because everybody else was on the ground. And all of a sudden, we had just about every person in that run asking for fight explanations before every boss.
It was good.
That was a good night, and yeah.
But it also just showed how friggin' lazy people are now. They've got a venture guide that just tells you the moves and what strategy to do, and just people weren't putting effort in, and they were just dying from easy mechanics.
Yeah, that just was not a thing in WoW for so long. You had to experiment, you had to figure it out, you had to go in and try. It's trial and error.
And people were just complaining in forums about how hard it is, and they just wanted it easy. What was the point of doing time walking?
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, you really
It's a
hit
raid.
that.
Still a raid.
Yeah.
That's what they need to realize.
Yeah, it's sometimes it is hard.
It wasn't like a time walking dungeon.
No.
Even some of the time walking dungeons, Pit of Sauron is hard. That's very hard. They've really sort of captured how difficult it was in the time walking version of that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, from that, and then amp that up to a raid, 25 people, Black Temple, which is very hard back, and I never did it back then. But you just see how hard it was just by doing the time walking.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was a good idea all round, and I really look forward to them doing it for more raids.
Oh, I wish they did it for everything, to be honest.
I can understand why they don't do it for everything, because that's going to
take a lot of effort.
I hope one day they do get there.
It's going to split everyone up as well. That's a slight problem I think they have.
I think
few times.
I think the other problem with it is that while it's still on a time walking cycle, if it's only open for each raid's only open for 1 week every 4 months, it's never going to be super meaningful, because unless you can do it all in that 1 week,
Yeah.
you've got no way of really
It's
Yeah.
got to be geared enough that you can do it in one run, really.
And like, it's still scaled down gear, and that was the big point of every time you looked at Time Walking versus us doing it, of they're being scaled down to a higher gear set than what we were ever going to get.
Yeah,
I
no matter
think-
that the item level said that they were less.
I think it could be cool if they had like a dungeon, a time walking dungeon event lead into a time walking raid, almost like a sort of like a progression. So you have like the BC dungeon event lead into Black Temple, and maybe they sort of tie them together somehow. That could be cool.
I would have really liked the idea if they said, oh yeah, for this month we're going to leave all the Wrath raids available for Time Walk.
Yeah.
And like month by month rotate which expansion was up for Time Walking, and
Yeah.
just have most of its raid content up for it.
Yeah.
And I
That
think
could be
that's
a cool idea.
I think that's the way you're gonna have to do it if they ever start doing multiple raids in one expansion, because otherwise it's just too time consuming.
Well, it's either that or they just cycle each raid.
Yeah,
Or-
but in that case, if you start doing that, then you're never going to see some of those raids are going to be just about a year apart. Like
Yeah.
as it is, it's 4 months between each time Black Temple or Alderwar comes up.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so before we get onto class, like how classes played this expansion, there's one last one of how the gear progression worked through the expansion. To just get everybody on the thought pattern, I thought the just rate that the gear went at and the Titan forging of this expansion was ridiculous.
Diablo 3.
Yeah, it's actually really, really evident how much of the Diablo team is now working for WoW. Between Mythic Plus and the Titan forging system, it's
And the random drop.
and yeah, just the randomization.
Yeah.
But-
Go and farm a bit of gear. Good luck. You'll never see it, but yeah.
Like let's be blunt. The reason we've got such a massive stat squish coming in 8.0 is because the power growth over this expansion's been ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it's doubled. Like did it start at like 500 at the start of the expansion,
I remember it's
and then now it's like
600?
a
I remember
1,000?
it being like about how like can you do like 200 or 300k? There's people trying to pull off 2 or 3 million now.
Yeah.
Like, didn't Warlords end at like a 100 and something k health, or something like that?
Yeah. But
And most people in Legion have got 10 million, or going towards 10 million if you're a tank.
Can't remember.
I know you could get like 500,000. Oh no, never mind. Alright. I'm thinking like bosses were like 2 million in Warlords.
Yeah.
Can't remember what the health was.
And
Are you talking about dungeon or raid bosses?
red bosses.
Because I think Archimon had like, that story had like 1,000k. Like he had 1 mil or something like that.
1,000k.
You know what I mean? Like on the health bar it says 1,000k.
And like, let's be honest, the reason we're getting an item level squish is because Legion started at item level 700. And by the end of it,
It started at 700. I thought it started at like 500 or 600.
Oh, it was like 6 something. I remember like the pre-Legion event stuff was up to 700. And it just made it that every tier was such a huge advancement over the other tier.
Yeah, which is what I was talking about at the start of this conversation. It's just ridiculous. One patch comes out and you're just screwed if you don't
Yeah,
play a
you're-
character.
You're all of a sudden behind. You're massively behind if you're not playing that character all the time.
Sorry, just to interject, Benediction wasn't added in to any of the anniversary events as a transmoggable.
There you go.
okay.
I remember hearing it was on the cards, but maybe that didn't happen.
I think it was the Dragons of Nightmare that was around just recently, or late last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, does anybody want to say anything else on the gear progression through Legion?
The only thing that I can think of is going to do the Legion invasions on my 110 versus on a leveling up character was insanely different. It was a piece of piss, and you can like one-shot shit on 110 that's like nicely geared, but it's so hard, and you die so often on a level 100 and anything that's not 110, pretty much.
Yeah. They were not.
You basically had to group up with 110s and just let them carry you.
Yeah, exactly.
But in saying that, it was the easiest XP and easiest way to level up ults.
Yeah,
that's true.
But it was also like I literally just ran with Cole's group on my 915 item level rogue, and I just got one shot in a raid, just like, and they're just standing there taking it. Their DPS are barely moving. Their health bars are barely moving.
Yeah, because they've just outgeared to crazy extents.
Yeah, and artifacts progression had a big deal to that, I think, as well. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, that was on heroic raid, and that's with the super geared artifact. That's everything, and yeah, still got exploded. In the wrong spot and just died instantly. Wow, the gear progression just recently even is just stupid. Like,
yeah,
if you're willing to put in the time, the gear progression was just insane.
You basically could outgear everything.
Yeah,